What is up, everybody? We are back once again for a late night edition of
After Dark.
After Dark of wrestling content. I don't
Well,
know how.
let,
I don't know. Go ahead.
let's bill it the appropriate way for the show. A once in a lifetime.
This is only going to happen once in a lifetime. What we're about to do right now, until
next year.
Until we do it again.
Yeah, until you do it again.
Yeah. So I don't know how much love we're going to get here tonight. It is late, and we are right in the midst of Mania weekend.
Yeah, this is kind of the biggest
is happening.
Yeah,
and everybody in the wrestling world, except us, BP, is in LA. Everybody's over there.
Well, next year it's going to be a little bit closer.
Next
year is going to be a little bit closer, a little bit more familiar territory.
Yeah. What do you think the roadmap is going to look like for next year? Do you think the city of Philadelphia runs a lot of shows? Do you think there's going to be a lot of stuff over the bridge?
It'll a lot of stuff will be over the bridge. I'm going to guess the collective will most likely be in, if not Atlantic City, probably Atlantic City, but if not there, definitely over the bridge to avoid the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission. In town, you'll have like the WrestleCon stuff. If AEW is still running Ring of Honor, the Ring of Honor show will be there. Impact usually runs a joint show with New Japan that will likely be in the city or in Pennsylvania adjacent. I'm going to guess the 2300 Arena will be hopping. There's going to be a lot of stuff there, but you'll have your fair share of stuff in Jersey. And just because independent wrestling, even though the independent scene in Philadelphia isn't what it once was, I will be shocked if Icons doesn't do an Icons thing for WrestleMania weekend. It would be dumb for them not to, and they're not dumb people. I think just the vibrance of the PA, New York, New Jersey, Delaware scene, like anybody is going to try to run, even if it's not in the city. Why wouldn't you try to run an hour away? Why wouldn't you try to run in Delaware? Why wouldn't you try to run in Jersey or even in like Allentown or I'm thinking Three Legacies. We've met Ricardo, awesome guy, Ricardo Rodriguez. He's doing his own thing in Lancaster now. Lancaster's not that far from Philly. Why wouldn't he run a show?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't people we know like PPW? Why wouldn't they run a show? Why wouldn't anybody that's within like an hour or two from Philadelphia run a show? It's a no-brainer. You're gonna have so many wrestling fans in the area. Do it.
Yep, absolutely, and I'm pumped. But the collective is going on now. So far, I haven't watched anything. I took a little bit of a nap. I've been up all day. My sleep schedule's all screwed up. So far, what we've had today is
Santino Brothers was the opening of the collective, and I have found maybe not my new favorite wrestler, somebody I'm really glad to have discovered. And I know she's done some stuff in other ones, but I guess I've missed it. But hell if I didn't love Delilah Doom. Delilah Doom is a new favorite of mine at Santino Brothers. She is their inner city champion, and her entire gimmick is she is a 1980s like jazzercise enthusiast. So she's wearing a lot of colors. She's wearing like the jazzercise outfit, the tights. I love her tagline that the announcer gives, which is thick thighs and jazzercise.
Oh my god, that's great.
And she's set in the 1980s, and she does the 619, but it's called the Star 69. But what won me over is
Star 69.
What won me over is her entrance music, and then she yelled this at one of her opponents. I guess you have to have known this show to appreciate this, but her entrance music is "Let's Go to the Mall" by Robin Sparkles, which is a thing from How I Met Your Mother. And it's very hilarious. One of the characters in the show is you find out like she's Canadian. You find out in the 80s she was a teen pop star, like a Debbie Gibson or Tiffany, and her big song was "Let's Go to the Mall." Yeah. And they actually made a song and made a video for the show, and that is her entrance music.
Yeah, it's the beautiful part about the collective and this Mania weekend is, for us anyway, or for most people, if you're not involved in the indie scene, this is the weekend to do it. This is the weekend to watch some stuff. This is the weekend everything's going to get pushed. And it is dope that GCW puts together all these shows and puts them on this weekend, because for us anyway, it's the East Coast, it's the West Coast.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of talent that's utilized that, I mean, some people from the West are from our coast are going to fly out and do spots like the big name people, but a lot of what you're going to see is possibly West Coast.
GCW has their crew that they use.
Yeah. But I'm saying
they use them where they are.
Like for the example, for the culture, the Pride show, like I know one of our guys that used to be out here now is out there is going to be featured a lot in some shows. Like
Keita has done for the culture before. Like they have their guys that they use.
Yeah. But there is going to be a showcase of maybe talent you've never seen before, or maybe talent that's going to jump off the map this weekend.
Yeah, there's always somebody who's like the breakout star of the weekend, and this is the best weekend ever to do it because, and I'm not trying to be a pitch man here, but Fight TV, you used to have to pay
$120 some for the whole thing.
Yeah, there was like a pay-per-view bundle, or you could pay like $20 a show or $100 something for all the shows. Everything GCW is now on Fight TV Plus. You can do a free trial of Fight TV Plus. There's a 7-day free trial, and you can just watch all this stuff literally for free if you've never done it before. So it is a great time to expose. Don't take this the wrong way. This is a great time to expose yourself to independent wrestling.
Says expose yourself this weekend
to independent wrestling. Context.
Yeah, if you're not watching the indie scene this weekend, you're absolutely bonkers. That's pretty much gonna be my like, I probably won't do it this weekend because of everything going on, but I will be definitely playing catch up. My attempt is to watch every piece of GCW content this weekend.
Well, and the big one for me personally, because this is everybody has their flavor of wrestling, and I'm not trying to diminish what anybody else thinks of wrestling. Like what you like, but my flavor of wrestling is really, really well encapsulated. Like I like fun, silly, gimmicky stuff to a degree, as long as it's not like intelligence insulting. Like I like I'm talking about Delilah Doom. Delilah Doom's a gimmick. It's a great gimmick. But Bloodsport is always one that I love. And Bloodsport just ended about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. And as always, a fun watch, some great fights. I didn't see it all because I went to go see a local comedy show.
How was it?
Fun. Very fun. Always a fun time there at Pilguru Brewing. Our buddies at Pilguru Brewing.
Yeah.
And but came back, watched the second half of Bloodsport, got to see John Moxley and oh boy, the name of his opponent is escaping me now. The Alex Coughlin, the New Japan Strong guy. Got to see Davey Boy Smith.
How was that match?
Good, very good.
I'm kind of. It sucks that the way everything went down, because that match was originally slated to be John Moxley versus Davey Richards.
Yeah, it was.
That would have been interesting to see.
Alex Coughlin is an up and comer, though. Somebody you're going to hear a lot about. Very, very, very suitable replacement. Obviously, Davey Richards is as good as it gets wrestling wise, and I would have loved to have seen that fight, but good nonetheless. We also had Davey.
Speedball.
I did not see that one. That was something I have to go back and watch after this. I did not see the women's match. I think it was Marina Shafir and Killer Kelly. I know Killer Kelly was involved. I did get to see Johnny Bloodsport again. Johnny Bloodsport was involved. I did get to see the two main events, or the big main event was Josh Barnett and Be Stole My Beating Heart, Timothy Thatcher. Oh, I love Timothy Thatcher.
How good was that fight?
So good. So good. Wait. So definitely worth going out of your way to see. And it's not like you'd have to go out of your way either. But yeah. So a lot to do this weekend.
Yeah, and if you are staying up late and you have nothing to do,
I'm not staying up this late. No.
Head over to Fight. So what you have coming up here at 11:59 p.m. their time. Our time would be like what, 3 something.
2:59 in the morning. Yeah. Or no. 11 o'clock our time is DDT.
Yeah, so DDT is happening very soon.
That's happening like 13 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then later on tonight is going to be For the Culture. Then tomorrow is going to be Jimmy Lloyd's D-Generation F, DDT versus GCW, Joey Janela Spring Break,
Yes.
Emo Fight, which I'm really excited for.
Joey Janela Spring Break is, including WrestleMania, might be the show of the weekend.
Yeah. Then Saturday will be Effie's Big Gay Brunch and Gringo Loco's World on Lucha. And then Sunday will be the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame. And then you pile that up with Impact, New Japan, and NWA's Multiverse show. Then you pile that up with, I believe, NXT. Then you pile that up with ROH. And then you pile that up with WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2.
An embarrassment of riches. But just to talk about Spring Break real quick while we're on this show is so loaded. We have Joey Janela, who gets a bad rap and who's going to turn a lot of heads this weekend against Kota Ibushi. That match is going to be worth going out of your way to see. You're going to have Speedball Mike Bailey and El Hijo del Vikingo, who just had a big match with Kenny Omega on Dynamite. You're going to have the DLC brass ring match. It's a DLC match, and that doesn't mean you have to pay extra. It's a doors, ladders, and chairs match, and it's going to have like Jordan Oliver, Commander, Tony Deppen, Billy Starks, and that it's like an 8-person match. That's going to be incredible. Ladder match. Grab the brass ring. You're going to have Team Bussy.
Our boy Deppen is also wrestling in the GCW versus DDT show.
Oh, nice.
He's teaming up with Homicide, and I'm gonna butcher this, so I'm very, very sorry, to take on, and it looks like the co-main event, Jun Akiyama.
You got that one right.
And Tahitsu Indo.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jun Akiyama is an old school All Japan guy. That is awesome. And then back to Spring Break, you also have the very vaunted Team Bussy, Effie and Ali Ketch against for one night only. They're saying once in a lifetime. Let's fit the theme of the show. Once in a lifetime. Team Maki Death Kill, Nick Gage and Maki Ito.
What's going on, everybody in the chat? Well, speaking of
and the clusterfuck too. I think the clusterfuck is still going on. I hope so.
I don't know. Well, Murder Death Kill has been murdered, and it's no longer that. It's now Masha Death Kill.
Murder Death Kill has not been murdered.
No, it hasn't. But that's
you want to celebrate this. It's not over. I love Masha as much as anybody, but she didn't kill the guy. No, you can show as many T-shirts as you want. It's not over.
I don't want it to be over. I was just showing the new shirt off. Yeah, so tons and tons of fucking dope stuff this weekend. I'm super excited. Emo Fight, it literally only has one match announced for it.
But yeah, it has the original emo wrestler. The zombie princess Jimmy Jacobs is going to be stepping in the Emo Fight ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I forget against who. So
Kevin Blackwood.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, I know him. I may have played the wrong music for him once. I may have played, I think, Marcus Mathers' music for Kevin Blackwood.
I love that. All right, well, let's get into our topic for tonight. Wrestlemania 28, an annual WrestleMania professional wrestling pay-per-view event produced by the WWE. It took place April 1st, which is crazy because that's why they got away with this legally, by saying it was the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Oh, April Fools.
And then they just said April
Fools.
Back a year
later. Belated April Fools, yeah.
Yeah, so Sun Life Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. It's the highest grossing pay-per-view event in professional wrestling history.
Really?
As of that time, yes. That's what it says.
That makes sense. Okay. The reason I said really is because, and it probably still is, I know there was one that got more buys, but I think they did raise the price of WrestleMania by like $10.
Yeah.
The most bought one was actually 23, which was the one where they did Umaga and Bobby Lashley, and it was Vince McMahon, the guy that got indicted today. And they had a hair versus hair thing.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest one ever.
Yeah, this one has 1.27 buys. But commentator on the English side is going to be Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross. Spanish is going to be Carlos Cabrera, Marcelo Rodriguez. Interviewers, Josh Matthews and Matt Stryker. Ring announcers, Tony Chimmel, Howard Finkel, Justin Roberts, and tons of referees. Armstrong's there, Chioda, Cohn, Doan, King, Shawn Michaels, Chad Patton, and Charles Robinson. So this was an absolute loaded card. I will say this. We've covered Mania 5. We've covered, what was the other one before that?
22.
22 is all right. It was all right. 5 storyline was fun, but the wrestling itself, meh. I enjoyed watching 28.
28's a good show. 5 was very of its time. 22 was decent. 28 is a good WrestleMania. It is a high. Maybe one. That would be a fun thing to do. Maybe as a post WrestleMania show. We don't have anything planned for next week, do we?
No.
Are you familiar with the tier list concept?
Yeah, well, like S tier.
We should do it. Yeah, we should do a WrestleMania tier list, including, since it'll be in the rear view, WrestleMania 39. We could do a tier view of some WrestleManias. Or
you would have to be in the driver's seat because there's a lot I can't recall back to see if I.
Really I could. Most of the early ones were bad.
Yeah.
Spoiler. But no, I can definitely drive that. I can definitely drive that.
This is why I enjoy doing the content, because a lot of this time of wrestling I didn't watch. I was not a wrestling fan, and
straight through, baby, straight through.
I can never remember everything, so going back and refresh my brain is a lot of fun. But I genuinely enjoyed watching this show. There's a lot of Gaga shit that I would be like,
oh yeah,
I don't want to see Rock Cena, and then they do it, and they're like, they're Rock Cena. You know what I mean? Like,
were you watching at this time?
No, I was not.
All right, so I mean, at this point, John Cena has been your top guy for like 6.5 years, and he is a top guy in a way that certain people have never been a top guy. He can be in as many main events as you want him to be. He can be the champion for as long as you want him to be. Roman Reigns will never be as big as John Cena. I'm not trying to disparage Roman Reigns. I'm not trying to say he's bad. He's not. He's great. Roman Reigns will never be as big as John Cena. Somebody like, and I love this guy, Bret Hart will never be as big as John Cena. You love this guy. Shawn Michaels will never be as big as John Cena. They just didn't reach the level of mass appeal that John Cena did. Only a handful of people did. Steve Austin did. The Rock did. Hulk Hogan did. And that's about it. Well, if you go back far enough. Yeah, for his time, he was that big. Yeah. So this is, and maybe I'm wrong here. I think this is the last true dream match that we ever had for mass appeal. I'm not talking about like Briscoe's FTR was a dream match to me. There's going to be, they build Vikingo and Kenny Omega as a dream match. I think for the mass audience, the last true dream match that we've had in professional wrestling was this show, WrestleMania 28, 11 years ago. And there hasn't been one
until last year, and then Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, that wasn't a dream match. It was Steve Austin's coming back. If Steve Austin would have came back against like a Roman Reigns because Austin is so big, or if it was Steve Austin and John Cena, that's a dream match.
No, I agree.
This is there have been a handful of a very small handful of main events of WrestleMania that can really be considered at this level. If you're talking about like your top 5 WrestleMania main events ever, this is one of them.
Yeah.
Do you think Cody
hits that level?
No.
Yeah, I think he'll get as close. I think Cody
got to cross over. I don't think Cody's going to cross over.
Yeah, I think Cody's going to surpass it when it comes to what Roman did in 2 years when it comes to like fan appeal.
Could be, but not John Cena. Roman and John Cena are completely different. Yeah, they're completely different.
The smart fans are going to hate Cody, and I think the diehard money fans, like the kids and the money, like they're going to be Cody marks.
You know when you see it, and I don't see it in Cody. He's a great baby face. It's his time. This is the right time to make the move. He doesn't have what Cena had. Cena had like an extra something special.
Yeah.
and,
No,
and you can't explain it. You just know when you see it.
So
And
I wasn't there for a
yeah.
lot of the Cena stuff. Then when I came back to wrestling, Cena came out, and I remember he did like a return spot, and I remember even talking about it on the podcast, and I was like, I didn't watch a lot of Cena, and I get why people say they hated him because he was like Hogan, and I didn't like Hogan when I was a kid because just how much he was forced on me. But I remember he grabbed a microphone and he went out and cut a promo with the whole crowd saying how much he hates them. And by the end of the promo, he was in the driver's seat of the entire arena because he had a microphone in his hand, and I was like, this dude is good.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, but this was the night. This was the night that I'm like, oh my God, he is every bit the star that Hogan was, that Austin was, that Rock was. And it's because this is, let's paint the picture for the show. WrestleMania 28 is the first time The Rock has had a wrestling match since WrestleMania 20. He came back the year before. He was like the host of WrestleMania 27, but the main event was The Miz and John Cena. The Miz was a champion. And everybody's like, oh, well, Cena's going to beat The Miz. The Miz shouldn't be the champion. He's not deserving. People didn't respect The Miz. They underrated The Miz. They still do. So The Rock comes in and he costs Cena the match. Like The Rock is a babyface. Everybody loves him, but he screws Cena because he hates him. Like there was real heat before this. Like John Cena, and it's funny because he did all the stuff 10 years later, but John Cena kept like kind of running down The Rock when he was gone. He was very disassociated with WWE. He ran him down about like leaving and doing other things and not being devoted to the company. And he's later apologized. He's later like, yeah, I was wrong. He did what was best for him. He advanced his career. He evolved. So when The Rock came back for the year before this, at 27, like before 27 to be the host, he cut this huge promo on John Cena. They were planting seeds. And then the night after WrestleMania 27, they set up this match for 28, The Rock and John Cena at WrestleMania. And then they did some like stumbling things, did some weird things. Like The Rock had a match before this where he teamed with John Cena because he wanted to do a match at Madison Square Garden at Survivor Series. So him and Cena beat R-Truth and The Miz. But the whole idea is that The Rock doesn't respect John Cena and doesn't think John Cena is on his level. And you can think that, like, yeah, The Rock was, because wrestling was bigger in the Attitude Era. It was a much larger deal. And when they're in this match, and it's The Rock's first singles match back at WrestleMania in 8 years, and it's in Miami, it's in The Rock's hometown. He wasn't born there, but it's The Rock's hometown. The Rock claims Miami as his own. And so The Rock is the central focus here. And during the match, you get the Let's Go Cena, Cena sucks thing. It's like, he's in there with The Rock. Not just the biggest wrestling star, but the biggest star. And the crowd is focused on John Cena. And it's like, wow, John Cena is that guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we'll get more into that match as we go along. So we will jump into the opening matchup here. It's going to
This
be
is going to be one of those matches to call back to last week, where our discussion is going to be quicker than the match itself.
Well, there was a pre-show match. The Primo and Epico, the champions, will take on we'll take on Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd and the Usos. So the Usos right now are a opening card team for a triple threat match for WWE Tag Team titles.
All tag teams were opening match at this point.
Yeah,
they did not respect the tag division.
Match got 5 minutes and 2 seconds, and it was and Primo and Epico have retained the title. Now our first match of the card is, you look on paper and you're like, wow, Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan for the
world heavyweight title. Yep.
To open the show, the world heavyweight title goes out there. And
the Royal Rumble winner, Sheamus. Sheamus had just won the Royal Rumble.
Bro kick 1, 2, 3. It's over. 18 seconds.
Well, first, Daniel Bryan is the champion here. He had cashed in his Money in the Bank and won the title. And he has his girlfriend in his corner, AJ Lee, who is now Mrs. CM Punk. And
what's on the marriage certificate. Yeah.
She actually has a book. Like, she had a book, and I never read it, but I've heard it's good. It's about like kind of adapting your mental illness to suit your circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
It's called, I believe it's called "Crazy Is My Superpower." And but no, like she gives Daniel Bryan, and she was super entertaining. She was incredibly great on the mic. She had a great character. She played like the crazy girl, the crazy girl that everybody was kind of into. And yeah, Bryan gives her a kiss, turns around, it's a bro kick, it's over. And I forgot until I watched this how much, and the crowd loved Sheamus. And this may be the last time they loved Sheamus, because they hated the fact that Daniel Bryan lost in 18 seconds here.
Yeah, it was rough, and looking back, very hard to watch. We won't spend too much time on it, because why? So we'll get into the next match.
We'll talk about it later. But we'll talk
Yeah.
about it here. The next match is Randy Orton and Kane. And the biggest chant in this match is for Daniel Bryan. This is the beginning of they refuse to push Daniel Bryan, and the crowd is like, we're going to chant for him anyway. We don't care.
Yeah.
This is the origin of that.
Yeah. This is a good match, but Kane's gonna defeat Randy Orton in 10 minutes, 58 seconds. And all 10 minutes and 58 seconds, the crowd is still seething.
They're either
For the
just
18
quiet
seconds
because
they
they're
just got.
pissed, or they're chanting for Daniel Bryan.
Yep, and it's very evident, and it's unfortunate that Randy and Kane had to go out there and follow that. Now we're gonna get another match here. Wasn't my favorite, but I thought they did what they had to do. Was Big Show versus Cody Rhodes. Big Show defeating Cody Rhodes for the Intercontinental Championship.
And the story here is Cody Rhodes has been a very long reigning Intercontinental Champion. I forget exactly how long, but and I think they even did a thing at like TLC where like he had a tables match with the Big Show. And they did a thing where Big Show like stepped off the apron and his foot went through a table, so he lost. Or maybe that was after this. I don't remember.
So ridiculous.
But the whole story here is that the Big Show is a WrestleMania choke artist. I think at this point his record at WrestleMania was something like 2-8, like including the sumo match he lost to Akibono, including the time he lost a handicap match to The Undertaker. They show a thing of his first WrestleMania match, which I was at 15 against Mankind. He lost by DQ. So this is supposed to be Big Show's WrestleMania moment, winning the Intercontinental title.
And the crowd still not back into it.
Yeah, they're not really caring. They're still mad about Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And you're really going to hear this in the next match.
Yep, this is where still women's wrestling was not treated with the respect it deserved.
Very much the Divas era, yes.
Yeah, and it's going to be Kelly, Maria Menounos, Menounos, Beth Phoenix, and Eve Torres, and Kevin Kelly and Maria are going to get the
Kelly.
I know, I'm fucking are going to get the pinfall here. Funny bit in this match that was
my favorite, one of my favorite things on the show. So this is also the kind of height of the celebrity involvement in WrestleMania, because as I'm sure some people know, Maria Menounos is not a wrestler. And the year before this, WrestleMania 27 is when Snooki was involved in WrestleMania. Maria Menounos is a media personality. She was on the show Extra. She always did like a lot of TV stuff. She was involved in something called After Buzz TV, which is where Sonya Deville got her start before she was on Tough Enough. I'm sorry if I'm distracted. I do have on mute the DDT show, and the blow up doll has entered. I forget her name, Yoshihiko or something like that. The blow-up doll, who was the Iron Man heavy metalweight champion, has entered the building. The biggest star of the weekend. Maria Menounos, not a wrestler, huge wrestling fan. And then Eve Torres, Beth Phoenix are the heels here. Eve Torres is in the midst of a heel turn. And so the thing you're talking about is that they do the stink face spot on Eve Torres in the corner. They do like a double stink face, Kelly, Maria. But Maria Menounos is wearing white pants. She is very proud of her Greek heritage, and she's wearing Greek color. She's wearing mostly white with like a Greek flag top. But her mostly white pants, when she does the stink face, Eve Torres's bronzer on her face winds up rubbing off on the white portion of her tights, and it looks like Maria may have had an accident during that.
Crazy.
To put it nicely, yeah.
Yeah. Just a stupid spot. But yeah, that match. But here's the deal too. None of these matches that we talked about here are bangers, but they're not terrible either.
No, that would have been fine on Raw, and it gets bumped up because this is at the point where if you were any sort of a celebrity, WWE is going to come knocking at your door, and Maria Menounos certainly was.
I didn't hate Kane and Orton. I didn't hate Big Show Rhodes. They weren't horrible matches, but we're just saying how it was. The crowd was still upset by the opener.
Yeah. I'm thinking about me at the time. I'm like, yeah, I'm still mad they fucked over Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
That was me. And that would be a theme for WWE for the next 5 years.
Now, this is the match here that will eclipse, I would say, a good portion of the pay-per-view, at least for me. It did got the longest run time of the card. Triple H versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as your ref.
End of an era.
End of an era. And
they do get the crowd back, and they deserve it. Yeah, it's great. I'm surprised you like it.
Why is that?
Because of how much you hate like the Johnny Gargano thing of, okay, they just shot the guy in the head and he kicked out at 2. They do that to the Undertaker 10 times here. Like Undertaker should have lost this match 8 times over.
The difference is
he's the Undertaker.
It's the Undertaker. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's the Undertaker.
Of course it is. Yeah.
And the other one is, and I love Johnny Gargano, but I have a hard time watching Johnny Gargano eat 100 finishers.
Yeah, it's the Undertaker's Ordance. It's an amazing match. I'm trying to like give you some crap here, but yeah, this is an incredible match. The story is, of course, the Undertaker ended Shawn Michaels' career, and the year before this was Triple H and the Undertaker won, which was not Hell in a Cell, and Triple H falls just short. Like, he beats the Undertaker so much, the Undertaker has to be carried out. But the Undertaker wills his way to win the match anyway. It's like it's over, but the Undertaker catches him in that submission. And the Undertaker didn't wrestle at any point between that WrestleMania and this WrestleMania. He cut all his hair off. That's why you have Mohawk Undertaker here. And now the deck is completely stacked against the Undertaker, where it is Triple H in the cell with his best friend as a referee. Michaels and a lot of the matches, Michaels does a great job just selling the anguish, selling the pain of like, should I stop this for the Undertaker? Should I
essentially Montreal Screwjob Taker and give it to my boy? Yes,
I have the power to end the streak myself. Should I do it? Even to the point where he gives Undertaker the super kick at one point and then is like agonizing over it. But yeah, an incredible match. And I think and it didn't happen, but if this would have been a thing where like Triple H, Michaels, because they all wrestled, even Michaels wrestled after this. They all wrestled each other with Kane in Saudi Arabia many years later.
At that Blood Bunny.
Because they call us end of an era. If they would have all said at this point, you know what, we're done. We're never getting in the ring again. This probably gets remembered as like an all-time great, memorable match.
Oh, completely agree. Yeah. That should have been the one where maybe they all hung their hats up. Yeah.
But then I wouldn't have. I was at the WrestleMania after this. I was at 29. If we didn't have CM Punk and the Undertaker at that, oh man, that would have been a tough watch without that match.
Yeah,
that match was like the only good match on that show.
Then we have a 10-minute and 32-second match coming up here, where we're gonna have Team
the Hall
Johnny.
of Fame too. We have the Hall of Fame with like Edge the Horseman. I forget everybody that was in it. Edge was the main event. The Horseman is interesting because it's Ric Flair, Arn, Tully Blanchard, J.J. Dillon, and Barry Windham. But Ric Flair was under contract to Impact at this point. He had left to go to Impact.
This is where people are kind of speculating. We'll kind of today's time this, where people are kind of speculating in rumors that Gangrel is going to come out with Edge at this show.
Well, Gangrel wouldn't be the problem. It would be Christian.
Yeah, so people are saying that, does Christian show up? I think it's not a chance. No way it happens. But they're saying if anyone can do it, Christian has worked multiple companies before. He has, even under AEW, he worked Impact. When he was in AWWE, he worked Impact. Is this the moment where the shot, like, there's an agreement made and Christian shows up to be a Brood Rooney night against the Judgment Day? I say no. It would be a dope moment, but I don't think it happens.
Probably not. But these things are never. It's not will Christian do it? Yes, he will. I don't know Christian. I've never met the man, but yeah, he would do it. Will WWE allow it? Like, there's that whole talk about when they did the Raw 30th anniversary in last January, or this January. No, it was this January. It was a few months ago when they did the big DX reunion. Like, I guess they wanted Billy Gunn. We said, yeah, Billy Gunn can come. Just mention he's part of All Elite Wrestling on your show. And they said no. Now, are they going to be willing to do that at WrestleMania and say, there's All Elite Wrestling's Christian? And if they're not willing to do that, then AEW is probably going to say that no, he's under contract, else you can't have him.
Yeah.
So the question is WWE willing to make that concession? Probably not.
That's what I think too. I don't think it happens. It would be dope. I think it'd be cool to have the 3-on-3 aspect there, just to kind of even the odds of Judgment Day. But yeah, this is where today's times is kind of blending in with the Mania we just watched, because this is a moment where WWE made a deal so they can get Flair for this Hall of Fame.
Yep. I'm sorry. I just watched a blow up dog get powerbombed on a floor.
You're good. You're good. So
before we go to the next match, you also have a backstage segment where Heath Slater, who is not on the card, is trying to beg Flo Rida for a spot, and we have both met Heath Slater.
Great guy.
Big guy too. Like,
huge.
He's one of those guys who you don't realize how big he is until you meet him. Flo Rida made him look small.
When we say, well, also this is not jacked Heath Slater. Like, Heath Slater, after leaving the WWE, his most recent leaving, has put on muscle mass.
Yeah.
But even without the muscle mass, he's a tall guy.
Yeah. And Flo Rida just like makes him look little, and like, wow, how big is Flo Rida? So go ahead. Now you can finally get to the next match.
Yeah, so the next match here, this match on paper, the names in it are fun. But the concept of the match, I don't know the storyline. It was fucking stupid.
I can speak to the storyline a little bit.
Yeah, so Team Johnny versus Team Teddy Long. Raw and SmackDown. Winner takes over both shows.
Yep. So at this point, John Laurinaitis is the interim general manager of Raw. General manager being the authority figure, like the person in charge of the show. And Teddy Long is the GM of SmackDown. So this match is basically a match where whomever's team wins, their representative, either John Laurinaitis, becomes the GM of both shows. So if John Laurinaitis wins, he's no longer the interim GM of Raw. He is the full GM of Raw and SmackDown. And if Teddy Long wins, he's not just the general manager of SmackDown, he's also the GM of Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your storyline.
And then both Bella sisters are involved, but they're not involved. They're
flag bearers. Yeah,
they're flag bearers.
This is before Nikki started the whole "I'm a serious wrestler" thing.
Yeah. So Team Johnny's going to be David Ortega, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Jack Swagger, Mark Henry, and The Miz, with Brie Bella and Johnny Laurinaitis and Vicky Guerrero. Then they are going against Team Teddy, which is Booker T, Kofi Kingston, The Great Khali, R-Truth, Santina Marella, and Zack Ryder. With who's this? Some chick, I don't know. Eve Torres, Hornswoggle, Nikki Bella. Yeah, there's another girl in there. Arksane.
Oh,
Arksane. Oksana. Yeah, sorry.
Oksana. She
And
was
Team Johnny's gonna
at some
win.
point she was Teddy Long. At some point, Oksana was like Teddy Long's fiance, I think. They always want to do like romance angles with Teddy Long for some reason.
But Team Johnny's gonna get the win here. There are some fun spots in this match. A lot of it's fun to see like the watching, going back and seeing Drew before he becomes Drew. He looks like he's 12 years old, but still in a grown man's body compared to what we see now. R-Truth out there just killing it. Santino Marella showing his work right here. Can't go wrong with Drew with Dolph Ziggler with some of the sell spots in here. It's not awful, but it's definitely goofy and corny. Booker T's storyline in this is he's a commentator for SmackDown, but he's going against SmackDown and joins Team Raw for this moment. And it is what it is, but it wasn't terrible. It was 10 minutes and 32 seconds. Probably could have been on 8 to 7 minutes.
Well, Booker T is on. No, I think Booker T was a commentator on Raw, but he's on Team SmackDown.
That's what it was. It was the other way around. Yeah. And the whole time on commentary is just Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler fighting of which brand is better, and they're trying to play it up a little bit. It was kind of boring.
And it's one of those things that's
it's
one of those things
where
here.
Oops, sorry, the delay there. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's one of the weird things here. I think we're having some internet issues here.
We're a little delayed. I think because both of us are probably streaming stuff, so we have a little bit of a lag.
But the SmackDown team is the better team on paper, especially at this point, because Drew McIntyre is not Drew McIntyre.
He's not Drew McIntyre, right? Yeah.
Yeah. David Otunga is a kind of a joke. Mark Henry is a former world champion, so that's a big one. But Team Teddy has like the Great Khali, former world champion, R-Truth, who was just in a bunch of main events, Booker T, who is a former world champion, Zack Ryder, who they never really pushed, but he's the hottest guy one of the hottest guys in the company at this point, if not the hottest guy in the company, really. So it's like really like I knew going into this, like, yeah, John Laurinaitis is going to win. This is somewhat significant because it's this is the end of Teddy Long as a regular character.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, Teddy's team should have probably won if you just look at it on paper.
Yeah. And then what's going to lead into the co-main event. And then also this card too is the beginning of what we would now, I guess, talk about pipe bombs, where CM Punk goes.
Well, no, the pipe bombs were the year before. Pipe bomb happened the year before.
Yeah, but I mean, this is essentially stuff that fueled what made the pipe bomb popular, because he's saying, you had 2 world champions, one opening the show, one co-main eventing a show, and then 2 guys, 2 part-timers come in and take main event spots. And
this is definitely, well, Cena wasn't a part-timer at this point. He was.
I'm saying he's getting the co-main event slot as a champion, and the main event for the Mania is going to 2 guys who are Hollywood guys.
Cena was not a Hollywood guy at this point, but no, I see what you're saying. But no, it was all about The Rock. Yeah. But no, yeah, this is definitely one of the beginning points of Punk's grievances. But yeah, like the pipe bomb thing, like the pipe bomb promo where Punk's wearing the Stone Cold shirt and he's like kind of dropping some insider stuff, and he calls himself a Paul Heyman guy. That was the year before this. That was the summer of 2011.
And then so we're gonna get CM Punk, and his the stipulation that was added was if he gets disqualified, he would lose the championship, because Johnny is saying that you can't control your temper, and Johnny essentially is saying, like, now I'm your boss and I control everything, and pretty much I'm gunning for you. Which
it's
backstage they were not fans of each other.
No, they were not, and even on TV they had the first time you have Laurinaitis as a TV character is the match where Punk wins the title from Cena the year before at Money in the Bank, and he like leaves with the title. Laurinaitis comes out to stop him, and then that kind of was what started making Laurinaitis a character. And yeah, they didn't do a whole lot with that after this, because really, it's funny. After this, Laurinaitis' main gripe and main feud was with Cena. But yeah, they did have a little bit of it, but by SummerSlam, Punk is actually a heel, and they're doing something completely different.
Yeah. But CM Punk is going to get the win here over Chris Jericho by submission. Good match, but you can definitely tell on CM Punk's face after this match is over and going into this match and just his attempt to get the crowd. He's out there to prove a point.
Yeah.
He should have been higher billed, and you can tell it pissed him off that, you know, a world champ went out and lost in 18 seconds and he's co-main event and he felt he deserved more. It's written all over his face, and what we know now of what his complaints and grievances were, he's out there, he's you can tell he's wrestling with a chip on his shoulder.
Totally. And this is also, we're very early on. Like, I remember watching this, I'm like, oh yeah, Jericho gonna beat Punk and then Punk will win the title back. But no, Punk wins. And also, this is very early on in the big Punk reign, which up until this Roman reign, I guess you could say, up until that, this is the longest title reign in forever. Punk, this is in 2012. Punk won the title at Survivor Series 2011. He kept the title until Royal Rumble 2013. He is the WWE champion, which is the Raw champion. Like, there was a SmackDown title too, which is what Sheamus has. But he is the champion for the entire year of 2012. Like, it is a long-standing thing for him.
Yeah, I by the way, I fucking hate the title. I think it's so stupid looking.
Oh, the spinner, yeah.
I hate it. Fucking.
By the way, that's a big rumor right now, is that Triple H has authorized a new title.
Yeah, that we're talking about a possible new title, and also the rumor of what's the other rumor that we're talking about here? That
Brian Cage.
Brian Cage is supposed to be a rumor. There might be a rumor that maybe Jay White shows up. There's a rumor. I think some of that stuff will be.
Coda, I think, is another rumor. Like, yeah, I've heard there's like things that they're WWE is confident they're going to sign both Coda and Brian Cage.
Wow,
this year
that would be insane. Another, what was the other rumor here? Does Roman? This is where that's where I wanted to go. Does Roman keep the title at Mania and then drop it at SummerSlam for his 1,000 days? I say no, but that's what people are.
Don't overthink it. Yeah. Everybody's thought this for almost a year now. The Rock's gonna come back. Oh, this is gonna happen. Oh, I overthought of the points. Oh, he's gonna lose it to Drew. Oh, he's gonna lose it to Sammy.
Does The Rock come out?
No.
But it's what time.
If? It's time. There's a guy, we know who it is. The Anawais are the greatest ones of all, but wrestling has more than one royal family. It's time. And judging by his experience, it's earned. Like, it is time. It is the right guy. It is the right time. It is the right place. It is Cody Rhodes is going to win, as he should.
I totally agree. Also, if you guys would like, come join us at digital.pro wrestling scorecards. It's completely free. And then when you sign up, you can join our faction, the ABJ faction. But WrestleMania is not open right now, but you have 7 hours to do Supercard of Honor. Metaverse is closed. Stand and Deliver, you still have time for that one.
Yeah, I think that's Stand and Deliver, I believe, is going to be Saturday morning.
Yeah. And then WrestleMania Hollywood opens on the 1st at 8 p.m. So
I'm sorry, I'm very annoyed right now that somebody just beat a blow up doll. I'm very pissed off. I'm like people when Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. So come join us and play along. It's a lot of fun, and it's cool to see new faces in there, and especially when they do really well. I know that, the last couple shows we've been having some cool little people to jump up in there and play along, and it's been a good time. But let's get to our main event here. I don't want to keep this super long because it is 11 o'clock at night and people want to watch stuff, so I am trying to rush through a little bit. But we have the Rock.
That, Brodus Clay came out and told everybody to call their mom, and his mama came out and it was very dumb.
Cool. So the main event happens. And The Rock will take on John Cena in a once in a lifetime.
Twice.
April
I was there
Fools.
for the second one. It wasn't as good. The second one wasn't as good. I was there.
Now, The Rock sustains an injury in this match, supposedly, right?
Bad injury was in the one at 29 a year later. All right, yeah, but his the injury he got at 29 a year later was bad enough that he had to halt filming of a movie. So I don't know how bad this injury was, but the significant one that has kept him from wrestling since. Like this match, he wrestled Cena the year after this, and then the only match he's had since is the one he did with Eric Rowan at 31, where he just gave him the rock bottom and pinned him. He didn't take anything. Mm-hmm. So if he got an injury here, it was relatively minor.
Yeah. But they're gonna go for 30 minutes and 35 seconds. And The Rock will defeat John Cena. You're gonna talk about false finishes galore here.
Yeah. It's a Cena match.
They suck the crowd in, and and it's one of the matches, man, where it was 50-50. It was like, man, people wanted to see John, some people wanted to see The Rock. The people who hated John Cena were like, this is gonna be the guy to take him down. The people who love Cena was like, oh, who cares about this guy? That's not my generation. Like it was that two generations clash deal.
Well, it was in Miami, it's more of a partisan Rock crowd, I think, but yeah. And also WrestleMania, like the thing at this point is you have your core audience for WWE, which is very casual, and you have the audience that buys the tickets and goes on the internet that doesn't like him. So, like, people loved Cena, but even if the crowds booed him, and that's definitely a thing here. Like, they do the intros where, like, Machine Gun Kelly does a whole set of songs before Cena comes in, and then
I hated that.
Yeah, so stupid. But Machine Gun Kelly goes in, like he's like talking about how The Rock's an egomaniac, and the crowd's like turning on him. And this started like a thing where for a few years here, like WWE fans hated Machine Gun Kelly. Like a few years later, he does a promo on Raw, and then Kevin Owens power bombs him through a table, and people go nuts.
Yeah,
I think that was the point he was dating Tennille Dashwood, Emma. But yeah, he came back later and got beat up. But yeah, it was definitely a thing where this crowd is like 80-20 for The Rock. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's as partisan as you're letting on.
Yeah. Were you shocked when The Rock walked out here as the winner?
No, because they had that whole edict of WrestleMania that you have to send the crowd home happy. Cena's not a champion. I would have been more shocked if Cena won.
Yeah.
Especially now, like you didn't know then that they're going to do it again a year later. But there was talk. Like one of the things we didn't talk about this is another thing that's very eventful is what happens on the Raw after this Mania. The next night, and word started trickling out around the time of this Mania. Like word was starting to leak. Cena comes out at the end of the show on Raw the next night, and he's doing this whole big speech, like saying like. Basically, I'm going to overcome this. And he does the whole thing, and then you hear some music you haven't heard in a long time because the Raw after this, you know who comes back to WWE?
Batista?
Brock Lesnar.
Oh, Lesnar comes back. Oh, yeah.
This is where fresh off the UFC. Like, he had, I think, this was of 2012, December of 2011, like maybe 5 months earlier, is when he had his last UFC fight with Overeem, where Overeem just kind of took him apart. He hit him with some body shots, and Brock just kind of shut down.
And I mean, this is Brock freshly coming off that, I can never pronounce it, the diverticulitis. Yeah.
Not right off, because he had the Carwin fight where he won, even though he definitely wasn't 100%. Then he lost to Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
And then he had the fight with Overeem.
Overeem knew he had those issues with
and Overeem was a kickboxer. He targeted the body. He was probably roided off his head.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Lesnar repaid it back to the company when he came in and beat Mark Hunt
Mark
when he
Hunt,
came
yeah.
in when he came in so juiced up that the cup melted.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is like, they definitely, and Brock would be like in and out at that point, because after that they did a whole thing with him and Triple H where they did a trilogy.
Is this where he comes back and just destroys and squashes John Cena?
No, that was later. Brock comes back and he beats up Cena, like comes in and just F5s him and kicks his hat. And then they do a match at Extreme Rules at the next pay-per-view, and Cena wins. Like Brock does this big dive and Cena punches him with a chain and knocks him out and pins him. Like, Cena won their first match. And then Brock comes back at SummerSlam and he beats Triple H. They do a thing at Mania where Triple H puts his career on the line and Triple H wins. That was the one I was at. That was 29 in North Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And they do, it was a trilogy. Then they do a match at the SummerSlam later that year in 2013. And Triple H wins, Brock wins that one to kind of end it. And then, because it was like, well, Brock's kind of like not really providing what we wanted, but then the WrestleMania after that, WrestleMania 30, is when he ends the streak, and then that kind of starts Brock proper. And then the SummerSlam after that would have been SummerSlam 2014, is when Danielson's hurt, and then Cena wins. It's held up. He wins the title at Money in the Bank, and then Brock squashes him. The original plan was for Brock to do that exact same thing he did to Cena with Danielson. Mm-hmm. Like, Daniel Bryan was going to get this big miraculous title when he was going to be the champion for like 6 months, and then Brock was going to wipe the floor with him. That was the plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, match, Brock wins all for the best, and then they run it back a year later, and it doesn't really work out.
Yeah, it's not the same match. But that is essentially Mania 28. We are going to do a recap next week of this Mania. We will tier them up, maybe the other ones, to see how we do it. Or we'll see how they group things, but we're definitely going to cover what happens this Mania next week. Maybe we do a recap next week and then do the tier the week after. That might work. I think that'd be fun. Yeah. What match are you most excited for going into Mania this weekend?
This weekend, what match am I most looking forward to, or what I think will be the best match? Two different answers.
Both.
What I'm most looking forward to, it's kind of a tie, and it'll probably be the two main events, which is the way it should be. I am kind of excited to see Cody finally ascend to the top, just because I love Dusty Rhodes, and Cody did really bet on himself a few times, and I love his ascension here. I'm sure I'll be sick of him a year from now, but for now, I'm
going to be sick of him in 3 months.
Yeah, for now, I'm all in, and I can't wait to see him get the win. The other one is the maybe main event of night one, which is going to be KO and Sammy against those.
Just to see not main event.
It's not. It's going to be Rhea
and Charlotte.
Oh, well then, regardless, my the tag title match anyway, even if it's not the main event, just to see kind of a emotional payoff to this great storyline, and it is a great storyline they've done with Sammy and the Usos especially, and Roman as well.
Yeah, I agree with both those matches. I'm excited for it. Kevin Owens getting his tag team titles. He never had one before. Really pumped for that.
I don't really care about that. Yeah, like whenever anybody talks about like, oh, this guy's a Grand Slam champion, like, I don't really care.
Yeah, Sheamus. I think Sheamus getting his IC title is going to be kind of dope if it happens.
Please don't let. I want Sheamus to be the guy to beat Gunther, not yet, because I want Gunther to beat the Honky Tonk Man's record.
Yeah,
Sheamus should be the guy to end it, but not yet.
I think Sheamus does it at Mania. I think he gets a Mania moment. But I really think Rhea and Charlotte are going to have a fucking banger. I think it's going to be really good.
It'll be great. They're incredible talents. Like, no, they're amazing wrestlers.
Do you think Ray retires at Mania?
Possibly. Who knows what's in his head? Usually when a guy goes in the Hall of Fame, that's usually meaning the end. Unless it's a thing like Edge where they come back way later. Because everybody thought Edge was done until advances happened. Advances happened in like rehabs, and it was more money than he could pass up. But just to kind of finish out what you asked, the match I think will be the best match when we whole thing and people look back on WrestleMania weekend. Maybe not all together, because I think there's some stuff on spring break tomorrow that could really be the best match. But if people ask what is going to be the best match at WrestleMania, I think the answer is going to be Seth Rollins against Logan Paul. That's going to be the best match of the weekend for WrestleMania.
I think on the low, I think Cena and Austin Theory are going to turn some heads too.
Austin Theory has a little more to prove to me to show me he can do that. If you it's funny because we're talking about Logan Paul, but I also think like John Cena hasn't been a full-time wrestler for now about 4 years,
and you're putting him with the best in the world with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, well, not the best in the world.
He's up there.
The best. Is he the best in WWE? He could be. Seth. I'm not trying to diminish Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is incredible. Seth Rollins is probably as good as it gets in WWE right now. I mean, best in the world? No, that might be the guy who just turned heel on Dynamite.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for this week. BP, what do you got to plug?
In about 3 minutes, there will be a new episode of Murder, My Dude. It's funny because we talked about the Joey Janela show tomorrow, but this is Spring Break, My Dude. We have a story from Texas and Mexico in 1989 where somebody went down for spring break, a pre-med student at the University of Texas. They went down and they didn't come back. And the story behind their unfortunate murder kind of takes a weird turn. You would think, oh, it might have been some kind of like femme fatale or some kind of drunken incident. No, we're going to be talking about some drug runners and say, so stay tuned.
Yeah. The internet tonight is just not on our side, but that'll do it.
The internet's been a little bad. I apologize.
It's all right. It's buffering a lot, but that'll do it for our show tonight. We'll see you guys next week. We're gonna wrap up for Mania 39 and let you guys know what we think of it. But until then, we'll see you guys soon. Check out the links below to support not only ABJ and the ABJ podcast, but Murder My Dude. ProjectHumanoid.com is below, as well as Precious and Philly Mike links. So make sure you go check that out, and we'll see you guys next week. We're out of here.